Hello and welcome to this PV Magazine webinar in which we will take the pulse of the commercial and industrial market and opportunities for solar plus storage right across the EMEA region. It is truly the next big market for solar and for storage, and we are delighted to host such a hot topic with our partner GoodWe. My name is Maria Maish, an editor at PV Magazine Global, and joining me today in the moderation of this webinar is my dear colleague Tristan Reiner.
Maria, thanks so much. Lovely to be here with you. And hello to everyone joining this exciting webinar today. We have a super session here today. We have presentations from GoodWe addressing the wider EMEA region, as Maria said, and a big panel discussion looms later, crossing the international solar markets for the latest perspectives on C&I and solar plus storage. And of course, in this session, our usual polls and Q&A, so you stay involved as well. And to set the scene today, as everyone arrives and settles in, there are some clear reasons why solar plus storage solutions are rapidly gaining popularity in all segments, but particularly emergent in C&I. Interestingly, the economic benefits of solar and solar plus storage frequently provide enough justification for businesses to invest capital in installations. So what I mean is sustainability is actually a bonus. The economics are clear just by themselves, which is quite remarkable. So when you compare retail electricity prices with the costs of rooftop solar and battery systems, and add in the occasional government incentive, depending on your region, it is evident that solar is a strong resource, and the financial case for businesses adopting PV technology are often very clear. Maria.
Yes, and the addition of storage is where the use of solar resources becomes more interesting. And we are going to hear a lot more about this today, as storage can optimize self-consumption, level out peaks in electricity use, and offer ways for businesses to mitigate power outages to continue to offer services or continue manufacturing. There is also enhanced power quality and revenue streams around grid support and resilience and more. On the other hand, there is upfront costs, regulatory and policy uncertainty at times, and of course technical considerations when needing expertise and planning for sizing, technology choice, locations, and more. But new solutions do exist. And C&I doesn't necessarily follow directly with the big installation figures in leading solar markets. For example, Spain, one of the top solar markets for years, has only a nascent C&I market with lots of room for improvement. Italy, on the other hand, is a major C&I market after permitting regulations changed recently, and so C&I was responsible for about 43% of the installed capacity in 2023, or just over 2 gigawatts. And as we have learned, the country is in for the storage boom, led by the C&I market segment after its net metering scheme for installations under 20 kilowatt is phased out at the end of this year, following confirmation by secondary legislation.
Yes, Maria, that's right. And we were reading that Belgium is another state of interest. I don't think Belgium always comes to mind when you think of solar, but new regulations over there for companies with over 1 gigawatt hour of annual offtake from the grid. They must now cover it with solar PV by 2025. So that means something like 2,500 companies will have to invest in solar PV over the next 2 years. So that C&I market is really growing there. And other countries still suffer a little bit more unusual rules and regulation issues, and we'll hear about Sweden later on today, I expect. But of course, the big issue that's very present in the built-out grids, where solar has been a bit more established, is grid congestion. And that's one key reason solar plus storage, well, the storage part of solar can make installations viable for C&I while providing those benefits as well. So, Maria, let's get settled in. We are here. We're all ready. So a little housekeeping just to make sure everyone knows what's happening as we get closer to kicking off.
Absolutely. So we want you to get involved today. So please don't hesitate to send through your questions and your comments and join the discussion, and we'll endeavor to get to as many of them as possible. Watch out for some polls throughout the event today as well, which you can participate in. And before you ask, the slides you'll see will be available afterwards, and all registrants for today's webinar will be receiving an email from the Big Marker webinar portal with a link to the recording, which you can further share with your friends and colleagues after our event today. And of course, the PV Magazine webinar team is standing by to answer any questions you might have about the Big Marker platform or any other administrative matter.
Yes, Maria, well said. So let's get things underway by introducing our webinar partner for today, GoodWe. So headquartered in China, GoodWe has a comprehensive offering across solar and energy storage, including hybrid inverters and battery systems. In 2021, GoodWe was recognized as one of the top 3 hybrid inverter suppliers worldwide by Wood Mackenzie. And the last number that I saw was many hundreds of thousands of inverters being delivered each year. I think the number was just over 600,000 in a recent year. So that's across 100 countries and regions. And representing GoodWe here today, and the first of our excellent speakers to join us on stage, we have Ali Boatur, who's the technical director at EMEA, in the EMEA region from GoodWe. Ali has joined us several times and is a good friend of the magazine. And at GoodWe, he is currently leading all technical activities in the EMEA region and is in charge of technical sales, after-sales service, product management, and product engineering. Ali, you are a busy man. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure to be here with you and with the audience.
Fantastic. So Ali's going to join us first to provide an intro to CNI, getting more into the background we talked about earlier, followed by a break where we might have a question or two. If you've put them in, let us know your questions. We'll keep Ali up to our speed. And then Ali will keep going with part 2, which is the solutions for CNI from GoodWe. So then our panel, obviously. So Ali, we'll get out of your way. You take it. You take it from here, and we'll rejoin you as we go along this webinar. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maria. Thank you, Tristan. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And today, as introduced by Maria and Tristan, we're going to talk about CNI storage. CNI storage is it's an emerging market, a lot of trends, a lot of solutions and opportunities in our region of EMEA, so that's Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And today, in our presentation to you over the coming 25 to 30 minutes, we're going to talk about trends. We're going to talk about developments of the market. Then we will share with you some solutions and use cases that GoodWe brings to the market. So starting with the market developments and the trends, we see several countries, several use cases, several drivers of this exciting market. And if we ask ourselves in the first place, what is CNI storage? CNI storage, I mean, we see it basically everywhere. It's agriculture, it's office buildings, it's factories, it's hospitality, it's data centers, it's large residential buildings. All of this would fall into commercial and industrial storage application. And this wide range of application comes also with a wide range of battery capacities. And this is what you see in this slide here, that we can talk about small commercial, that is, in terms of battery capacity range, could be something in 20 to 50 kilowatt hours, so very close to residential. It could be medium commercial with a few hundreds of kilowatt hours, so 50 to 500, but it could be large commercial, industrial, going towards utility scale, so more than a megawatt hour or few megawatt hour of installation. And these different businesses, these different applications, they face, of course, benefits, or they profit from benefits that come with CNI storage, and they face challenges. In terms of benefits, we see today that self-consumption of PV is one of the drivers. So companies look to reduce their energy costs. So lowering energy costs is definitely one of the main benefits. So companies look into increasing the self-consumption, for instance, here by adding EV charging, combining it with the commercial storage, using peak shaving. So these are terms that we're going to also handle during our presentation later today to go a little bit into some examples. We see also driver in several markets, and we have, for instance, our audience, and also we have our panelists, we have our friends from South Africa, for instance, that we see improving energy security is a key part, ensuring the backup, but not just in Africa, but also in Europe. This is an important driver. Reducing CO2 footprint. Companies, businesses benefit from two aspects. It could be monetary, so they benefit from incentives, they benefit from subsidies, so directly with additional income related to reducing their CO2 footprint, but it can also have some soft aspects helping them give a green image to the market, and also position themselves in towards their customers with a sustainable product, which is getting more and more important. In terms of challenges, system costs definitely has been one of the hurdles. So systems are expensive, investment costs are high. Systems themselves are complex, so there is a high complexity in this area. I mean, we see a wide range of application, wide range of capacities. Systems have been in the past more done in a way that everybody looks for a tailor-made solution. So this CNI storage needs to find the right solution for the customer, which brings complexity into the game. We will see later how we can help reduce this complexity by standardizing the solutions. And another challenge is lack of incentives. It's changing in several countries, as Maria and Tristan mentioned at the beginning. So Italy, Belgium, but also in several other markets with new incentives and application schemes. Yeah. So we'd like to hear also from you, from our audience. I mean, we see all of this benefits and challenges, and we are curious to know from our audience what you see in your market being the main driver to grow and take this potential of CNI storage.
Yes, absolutely, Ali. We would like to hear from our audience now and to engage them so we can launch our first poll of the day. The question is, what do you see as the most critical factors for unlocking the potential of CNI storage? System and technology competitiveness, energy management and integration, additional financial incentives, public regulations and sustainability goals, and customer awareness. So these are the offered answers. And
yes,
let's see.
The votes are rolling in. We can see that now. So everyone do pay attention. You can click here and influence the very discussion happening in this webinar now and later. So yeah, it looks
okay. It looks like
what are we seeing here, Maria?
Okay, we are seeing that additional financial incentives as well as energy management and integration. So energy management and integration emerges now as the leader on the board, I believe, right, for everyone?
Yep, that's about
Looks
right.
like, yeah.
Yep. So Ali, we won't ask for your analysis of this just yet, but let's keep it in mind as we move on. But
maybe just a short comment from Ali.
Sure.
So any surprises here? So about.
Look, no, I don't see any surprise. I mean, we're gonna have interesting discussions later with our partners from several countries. I'm curious also to see how these different drivers differ from country to country. I think that plays an important role as well. Yes. So not a surprise. I think we see here end consumer awareness being very low, but at the end, what counts is the final result, right? So. Yeah, let's deep dive later in the discussion, but it's very interesting to see a quite balanced image at the end also.
Indeed. Yeah, thanks, Ali. The stage is yours now.
Thank you. Yeah, so looking at these drivers, I mean, there are external drivers, right? So sustainability goals, new subsidies, strong outlook for the PV market in Europe and across EMEA general. So these are for sure key pillars, right? So these are macroeconomic factors, these are external factors that are part of the market. From our side, as a solution provider, what we can of course influence is by facilitating and making sure that technology and solutions support all of these external aspects to maximize the market growth. So even drive it. And what we see here, or we are focusing from our side on three aspects. So on providing modular and flexible solutions that make sure that wherever country, wherever use case, wherever customer need at the end, business need at the end, that can be supported with a solution. Smart software for system integration. I mean, we saw in the poll that energy management is one of most important aspects. So to valorize this, so we will look later also more into the use cases and how energy management and system integration can facilitate this. And at the end, it's also about attractive project economics. So at the end, there should be a business case for the business to invest into CNI storage. in order for this segment to become a mass market. And for this improved system profitability and this additional revenues, well, we see several aspects. So one aspect is, of course, that the payback time of the PV storage system needs to benefit from technology improvement, from the market trends, from the regulatory requirements. And the system costs overall have been significantly declining. Yeah, I mean, system costs are an important factor because they directly influence the decision making of the business. So lowering system costs overall for PV and storage, but also in particular for batteries, which are in this CNI application one of the main costs drivers. So technology improvement, scale of production, and we will see later standardization. So standardizing the solutions make the solutions easier, make the solutions more competitive and easier to deploy. Then the system profitability improves and increases with higher self-consumption rates of the generated PV. It's the more PV power is consumed locally as electricity prices are increasing, the more profitable the system will be and the shorter the payback time. For instance, businesses, EV charging, integrating EV charging, heat pumps, electrifying production lines, etc., etc. So this all are measures going into increasing the self-consumption to improve the payback time of the system. And another factor, and this is something new, a trend that is coming from new regulations, we call it the time of use benefits. So the EU is requiring all member states to implement dynamic electricity tariffs. So in retail, this is already, of course, in place for the stock market of electricity, but in retail, the member states are required to implement dynamic electricity tariffs. So to offer the option to the users to choose a dynamic electricity tariff. By 2025, several countries have this in place already. I mean, we're talking about Greece, Netherlands, Belgium, etc. So several countries have it already in place, and many will follow throughout this year and latest next year. And to give an example on what this means, we have here a graph showing an example. So we see this yellow line on the graph. This is dynamic or changing electricity price in an hourly rate. So we see it changing throughout the day, and the dark green area is a typical consumption of a business in this case. So it's basically just based on the normal consumption pattern of the business. And now businesses will switch and will move their behavior of consuming electricity to a price responsive model. For instance, they will be turning on the EV fleet during the night to profit from this lower price during the night. Let's see, as an example here, between 2 and 4 in the morning. At the end of the day, we see in this example, we're gonna have here at 4 to 5 p.m. also a lower electricity price. That's the time to activate the energy storage to store the electricity from the grid and use it later in the evening when electricity price is high. So these are type of use cases and drivers of the market that are improving the system profitability overall. And we're gonna be now looking into how we can realize this in the context also of grids implementing not just simple or not only individual power plants, but also going into the model of virtual power plants, so VPP, which is the example of or the case of several individual distributed solar power plants coordinated, managed together with an aggregator, which we call a VPP operator, centralized, typically through the cloud, steering and controlling this individual power plants and trading with a grid. So the participants in this VPP, they are compensated by balancing the supply and the demand on the grid. And here we talk about grid services. Grid services, we see several mechanisms to maintain the grid stability, such as frequency response. We're going to talk about this later with Niklas from Sweden as a main topic there. Congestion relief, Netherlands, for instance, with peaks of PV, for instance, coming during the day, or high loads. So all of this, DPPs coordinate these different power plants to make sure that energy supply and demand are balanced and are serving the grid overall. All right. So
yeah, Ali, before you go on, I was just going to jump in. We just sort of thinking. It's interesting. CNI, like CNI, is closely tied with both self-consumption, UPS level sort of backups, even grid support, as you were saying. So therefore, it sort of takes some of what you're doing in residential, some of what you're doing in utility scale with grid support and so on, and putting it into one. It's like the most complex of the three segments that we usually talk about, the residential, CNI, and utility scale. So do you have to apply completely new thinking, or is it just taking the best of both worlds and pushing them together and saying, yeah, we're up for this challenge?
Yeah, you got a really good point, because residential is highly standardized, right? Utility scale is always custom made. I mean, it's high investment, it's project business, and we are here in between. We're trying to get the best of both worlds. We have individual businesses that want to invest, but they have hurdles, right? So if we get both of these words, we get the standardization coming from the residential, but also at the same time we manage to put this several use cases and several technical complexities in more simple solutions. I think that's the key, and this is what I would like also to share with you in the next part of the presentation, talking a little bit about our solutions. Is at the end what we think is going to help us drive this market is to offer flexible and intelligent solutions that capture these opportunities.
Sure, go for it, Ali. I'll let you keep going. Yep.
Thanks. So I mean, we know GoodWe maybe from the residential, from utility, and also from this commercial segment. And here we're coming in the middle in this commercial and industrial segment, with solutions that reduce the energy cost and provide backup power supply. So we have a range of comprehensive inverters, batteries, and accessories for energy management. So the users always get the powerful backup with the UPS level switching, solutions with the reliable LFP battery cells. These systems, they integrate from their standard design, from their standard features, the smart operation mode. So they can be set to operate in a way to reduce the peak demand. You're talking about the peak shaving, or to support the backup power supply, or to maximize the self-consumption of the system. Yeah, and this all comes in systems that are, all in one, or systems that coming from one source, that are easy to install and commission. And adding to this flexibility, by combining all of the storage solutions with the PV string solutions, with the PV inverters, to increase the power. So here we have the flexibility coming from the MPPT, so the maximum power point tracker technology, and solutions that are capable of providing full power at high temperatures up to 45 degrees, and integrating all safety features, including the AFCI. So these solutions together, they integrate operation modes. Here we talk about 4 typical operation modes that we would like to share today with our audience. It could be also the combination of all of this. We have the self-consumption, the time of use, the peak shaving, and the backup. Self-consumption, I think, is straightforward. This is consuming the generated PV electricity locally, and this is what this graph on the left side shows. I mean, we have the PV curve, and we have consumption that is maybe during the night or during the evening, or times where we have no available PV generation, and the storage helps shifting that production into the times of consumption. Now we talk about the time of use. This is the example we highlighted earlier with the dynamic electricity prices that's based on the electricity tariff. So the price of the electricity changing, then the users can adapt their consumption behavior based on the electricity tariff. Peak shaving. Peak shaving means, I mean, users, depending on the country, there are countries which is even for residential, but it's very typical also for commercial and for industrial businesses to pay, of course, for the power, not just for the kilowatt hour they consume, but also for the power they get from the grid. And peak shaving minimizes this maximum power, which means they use the CNI storage to have the electricity and the power available when they have a peak of consumption. Then this reduces the electricity bill at the end. And a typical use case that we see in several countries and we always integrate in our solution is the backup, meaning when there is an electricity or grid shortage, that the backup of the system jumps in and always ensures the supply of electricity is ensured and continues on site. Yeah. So these are the several use cases and that we offer as a standard feature with our solutions. And now we are curious also to hear from our audience what of these use cases they see being the most popular. And for that we have a next poll. Maria, maybe you'd like to, or Tristan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go for it, Maria.
Thanks, Ali. So our second question of the day, second poll, what do you regard as the most relevant use case in your market? And we have offered answers: self-consumption, time of use, peak shaving, backup power, or grid services. So let's see what we get here. Oh, self-consumption.
Those votes are rolling in, so thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Stay involved throughout this session and keep writing in your questions. We can see them coming in as well, so that's
absolutely good. Yes.
But Maria, self-consumption dominating there. Ali,
absolutely.
I guess you might have expected something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Could we also say that the other use cases are maybe a bit more complex and a bit newer? So in the sense that self-consumption, we already installed PV for this purpose, and then to think of other additional business cases is maybe a step further.
Correct. I mean, also talking about standardization, right? So, I mean, this is straightforward. This is consuming electricity at your business. So this is, to me personally, is no surprise, and I think this is going to be the absolutely the main driver. And also looking forward to the comments of our colleagues later on during the panel discussion. But for sure, also this strongly depends on the country, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And on the electricity market setup. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks you for putting the votes in. See you later.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we keep going. So all of these use cases, what's important, I mean, we see here self-consumption as one use case, but we also see several other opportunities and several other operation modes. And we integrate energy management system into our system. So the energy management is the interface between the grid, PV, load, and storage. But we also follow an open protocol strategy. Yeah, right. I mean, we have here several countries, several use cases. There are still quite complex use cases and energy management partners, VPPs in several countries, and a lot of players. And we are committed to driving or to supporting the rollout of CNI storage across several countries, and therefore we follow this open protocol strategy because we want to ensure the availability of the solutions across the region. Yeah, so we are open, and which means we work together with partners, and we have also some of them in our discussion later. For instance, our partner Fenecon from Germany, with strong capabilities in energy management systems. And I think this is a very good combination between standardized solutions that we can provide, but also expertise of local players that can adapt to the very specific need of certain countries. So talking about the standardized solutions which we offer, so over the coming slides, we'll quickly introduce to you what we're talking about here, what we offer. We have solutions for small CNI applications. So these solutions that are also used in residential. I mean, here we're talking about our hybrid inverter series, the ET 15 to 30 kilowatts. This battery storage you see here, it's a typical one that's used for residential applications, so a stackable module that this system is not just for residential, but can also provide the operation modes required for CNI storage. So besides the self-consumption, also the energy backup, the peak shaving, load management, and system that is scalable. So on one aspect, we have the battery here that can go in parallel, allowing to extend the capacity from 16 kilowatt hour up to 131 kilowatt hour. Plus, on the inverter side, working on parallel solutions. So our inverter series supports up to 4 inverters in parallel, which is a power of 120 kilowatt or power of 120 kilowatt, which is it's a very nice flexibility and a very nice modularity of a system for small CNI applications. Talking about the system costs, about the easiness, about what, especially when we go into higher, into more capacity, there we also offer solutions that are included in all-in-one cabinets, the 60 kilowatt hour outdoor battery. So these are also solutions that are very simple. I mean, it's a cabinet that is ready made, that is just need to be put outdoor, wired, connected, and it starts running, and also comes in options of expansion. Again, here with the standardized solutions that have the flexibility of being modular and of being suitable for parallel operations, both on the battery side and also on the inverter side. Here again, we expand the range of capacities, and also we expand the range of power that the inverter can support. And talking about backup, which is also a driver in several markets, we have our solution of ETC and BTC series. So these are also hybrid and AC coupled inverters up to 100 kilowatt that include full power of up to 100 kilowatt backup, which is integrated in one inverter and an UPS level switching. So it's a powerful backup solution that brings in also additional possibilities for the users. Again, here with options for parallel connections, extension and scalability, flexibility is key in this range to make sure that each business can set up the right capacity and the right power needed. We're also soon going to bring an outdoor solution in this range of 50 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt hour with an all-in-one cabinet. Again, following this path of ready-made solutions, easy to install and easy to start up. And yeah, we're going to keep on providing parallel connection of all of these solutions, both on the battery side as well as on the inverter side, because what we believe is that these standardized solutions that have the advantage of the easiness, simplicity, and advantages in terms of system costs, combined with this modularity, they can offer all the flexibility needed for this complex or wide range of CNI storage applications. All right. So these solutions we have already deployed in several markets in several countries, and over the coming few slides, also a little bit to trigger our discussion in the panel later, I'm going to share with you some use cases, some examples that we observe here. A scenario of hospitality might be not the very straightforward that someone would think of as CNI storage, but we see high interest, for instance, in hospitality. So hotels facing challenges with the rising electricity prices, challenges with unstable grids, especially if they are in remote areas, like we see here, for example, in Austria, very typical, or Switzerland, remote areas in the mountains. So the solution that we can offer to this type of hospitality business is PV combined together with the storage, lowers the electricity bills. That also provides this uninterrupted power supply, so the backup for better customer service. This puts also CNI storage into completely new light. I mean, if this is here about improving the service, improving the quality and of the electricity supply in their hotel for their customers, for their guests, also puts a different meaning behind also the investment. of this business. Plus, in addition, as we say, it's implementing green policy and positive brand building that is becoming more and more important in hospitality. One case study, this is our own factory in China, in Guangdong. Here we have installed a 3 megawatt PV system with an energy storage, with EV chargers, and with adjustable loads. So we had in our factory the available rooftop space. We have, of course, we have high consumption due to the nature of the manufacturing. And so our target is to increase the self-consumption of the 3 megawatt system that we have on our rooftop. Also provide uninterrupted power supply for some critical manufacturing loads, and also control the loads that we have, especially that we are driving, so going more into EV charging. And this is a solution combining string inverters, retrofit batteries, CNI batteries, energy management with a data logger, and EV charger in a system. Another example here, a recent one that we have provided to one of our customers in Germany. This is a small wood factory, going more and more into electrification, so having increased electricity consumption, so increased electricity costs, so facing the challenge to reduce the electricity bill, and follow two approaches: self-consumption and peak shaving, both on the same time. And this is the combination of, and it's happening with a system of 120 kilowatt of PV with the 50 kilowatt battery power at around 100 kilowatt hour battery capacity. Also, self-consumption, very strong driver that we see here in another case in farming, where self-consumption also here driving the user to invest into this storage system, but also combining it with the backup power, because this case of this farmer, they have, of course, air conditioning for their animal keeping, and they want to avoid, of course, grid cuts and grid shortages, especially during the summertime, as this area is remote. All right, so we've seen several use cases, we've seen several applications, drivers of the markets, and I think, we have a lot to discuss and a lot to follow up.
Yes, definitely. So maybe, Ali, just a couple of questions that have arrived in the meantime. So prospective customers want to know a little bit more about the GoodWe offering. So, for example, do you have support tools for configuring and sizing a hybrid system with PV plus BESS? And does GoodWe offer simulation tools to identify the best capacity power combination for individual consumer situation and use cases? So these are kind of similar. We can combine them.
Yeah, we have a designer tool to help our partners to design their systems. It's also a lot of dialogue together and support, and also we work together with our partners, and we see here later gonna join us Peak Plan, one of our partners, for example, in Germany, to make sure that all of the partners that are joining us in this panel discussion later are helping us together to provide the right solution and the right sizing to the prospects and to the customers.
Yes, with a lot of regional expertise. Absolutely. So as we prepare for our wide-ranging panel discussion today, don't forget, we would like to hear from you in the audience on the CNI Solar+Storage application. So do write in your questions as we go along. And so we'll take, and so everyone can take a chance to join the discussion.
Yes, and now Maria is going to take charge of the panel. I'm going to jump into the background to look at and manage sort of questions coming in. So I'll leave it to Maria and the panel now for the discussions until the Q&A session. So take it away, Maria, and the panel, and I'll see you soon. Yep.
Yeah, thanks. So up next is our panel discussion, in which we will take a closer look at the state of play in the CNI solar and storage market segment. And we are joined today by an excellent lineup of speakers. I would now like to invite all of them to the stage. Gentlemen, you can now turn your cameras on. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So I'd suggest we kick things off with a short introduction round for the audience to get to know you better. I'd kindly ask you all to introduce yourselves and your businesses within about 2 minutes here, plus a chance to talk to us about the hot topic before we move to the discussion. And just note, if I hold up my pen, you've hit 2 minutes and need to wrap it up. So first to Christian in Germany. Christian, welcome. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Yeah, thanks a lot. My name is Christian. I'm the managing director of Peakplan. And before that, I have 10 years in the energy sector experience. And what is Peakplan doing? So Peakplan's goal is to accelerate the energy transition. And our clients are from the industry, agriculture, installers, the energy sector, and also investors. We also have DAX-listed companies who rely on the Peakplan services. And what we do, we are not just taking care for the planning, like Ali mentioned. We also do the business calculation. So that's what Ali explicitly mentioned. We help them to realize the project. We have a big installer network bringing them in. And obviously, we also can deliver the goods. And Peakplan was founded 2 years ago, so quite young. We have already 50 employees. And in the short time, we already had the chance to realize or to plan PV projects in the size of 530 megawatt peak, as well as storage projects up to 360 megawatt hours. And maybe as a background, Peakplan is a brand of Memodo, and Memodo is one of the largest wholesalers for PV storage, charging systems, and heating, and has offices in Munich, Nuremberg, Vienna, Prague, Verona, Utrecht, and Ljubljana, so more or less in a lot of European countries. And regarding the use cases I brought, so we discuss it later, so therefore I will skip it for now and hand over to the next colleague.
Absolutely, Christian. Yeah. We'll discuss that later on. Thank you very much. And now we go to Niklas in Sweden.
Hello, my name is Niklas Knoppel. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Solar+Storage. We have been in business since 2014. Can I get the next slide, please? And we pride ourselves to come up with the latest and the greatest solutions as far as energy solutions and whatever hot topic we face next or challenge, if you like. We are today 35 employees. We are deployed mostly in the south part of Sweden, but we operate all of Sweden with our group of specialists, I would like to say. We were acquired by Ahlsell Group in January of 2023. So that means we have a big brother now, and we provide them with our solutions and our specific knowledge. So we're now part of 5,000 employees, 5 billion euros in sales per year. We have 140 outlets throughout the country where we can distribute our knowledge and products. So we are quite a strong player in the market now. I'm really, really happy to belong to this strong group of specialists and professionals, basically.
That's great to hear, Niklas. Thanks. And next, Jandre in South Africa.
Sure, thanks. So good day, everybody. My name is Jandre Swanepoel. I'm the head of sales for Kranish Solar in South Africa. As you can see, Kranish is a global distributor with offices and warehouses currently in 29 countries all over the world, with we supply to over 100 countries worldwide. So as a distributor, we look forward to the new and exciting products that GoodWe presented today. As South Africa and most neighboring countries experience grid failures on a daily basis. This being said, energy security is becoming crucial for businesses all over the sub-Saharan region that we currently service from South Africa. Solutions like these can assist businesses to remain open and maintain this normal operation during outages, and added benefits and other use cases that we will discuss. So over the past 2 years, we have seen large increases of battery and storage inverter sales worldwide, and we expect this trend to keep on going as stock availability has improved. And with these days also that so many institutions are offering funding for CNI markets, this would definitely help drive things a lot quicker. Thanks, Maria.
Thanks you. So now let's hear from Jakub.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jakub Fischer, and I'm the Managing Director of BayWa RE Solar Distribution Business in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Who is BayWa RE? We are one of the biggest global player in the field of renewable energy development. We build solar and wind projects, offshore, onshore. We service and maintain them. We are independent power producer, solar components distributor, and we provide energy solutions. We have very close relationship and we collaborate with the top tier one manufacturers of solar components. We own strong logistic expertise. We have some 65 warehouses around the globe, covering more than 350,000 square meters of the area. And only last year, we shipped around 350,000 unique deliveries globally. We organized seminars and trainings for our customers. We digitize our business. For example, we have an excellent online planning tool for PV installations called Solar Planet, and which also greatly works with our own brand of rooftop mounting structures, Novotegra. Globally, we have nearly 1,500 employees. We are present in 30 markets. And last year, we sold more than 10 gigawatts combined power of inverters and solar modules.
Thanks, Jakub. And finally, we welcome Leonhard in Germany.
Oh, well, hello then from my side. I'm Leo Kriegel. I'm responsible for sales at Finicon and CEO of our daughter company, Ferresto, which is doing rental storage. From Finicon, we are a family or owner-led business in energy management and storage, and our vision is a better future with 100% renewable. And if we're talking about that, that means, also all around renewable energy, not only in electricity, but also in mobility and also in heating and cooling systems. We are, for that, having a quite wide portfolio of residential storage up to multi-megawatt hour systems. And for the industrial or CNI market, we use a lot of EV batteries, which is then from zero, first and second life EV batteries. And as Tristan already told before, it's the wide range of very good structured residential in a high numbers and well organized, and then very individual projects. And our energy management, which is always part of our systems, is based on OpenEMS, which is an open source software. And for that, we quite won a lot of awards, including last year being top innovator of Germany, and our founder was also voted as EY Entrepreneur of the Year. One project that I will show a little bit is Next Mobility Hub, which combines different solutions of mobility, H2 mobility, but also EV charging and PV installations for that to have a very high own consumption and storage for energy trading, and also then combining overall business case that combines different solutions.
Thanks, Leo, and thanks everyone for this quick and informative introduction. Now, to start this session, let's all circle back to our first poll of the day. We saw that the audience believes energy management and integration to be the key factor in unlocking the potential of C&I storage, and it was closely followed by additional financial incentives, which can show us that the prices are still a bit high or although falling rapidly. But what is your view on this? What are the key drivers in the market? Here, Leo just mentioned also energy management, so maybe he can take the lead on this one.
I do agree that the combination of storage and energy management is very interesting one, or a very important one. And I think also there it is to combine different kind of solutions to one project for your partner. And I wouldn't necessarily say subsidies is that big in my view, because I think in the future PV and storage will be the cheapest way to produce energy. And for that, rather, it's the awareness of the customers, which was quite last in the poll. But I would say if people understand which is the future market, that will bring us forward, because it's the most the best way of using energy in the future.
Jakub, would you agree with this?
Largely, yes, I would agree. Of course, technology is not everything, subsidies neither. I think I'm thinking also of our market, Czech Republic and also Slovakia, awareness, general awareness is very important. Our customers, investors, installers, they need to realize the benefits, and they don't need to be afraid of what potential new revenue streams they can unlock. Speaking, for example, of ancillary services. There is a lot to unlock, but we just need to help to spread the word and the opportunities.
Okay, and Nicholas, do we see anything? What are we seeing in Sweden? Can you tell us? I think you're muted, Nicholas. Can you? Yeah, now it's good.
Is it on now?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. I just would like to add, I agree with everybody else said, but there is key focuses along the way that will drive the market in specific directions. And for us, it would be grid services at the moment. And that may not be true, in the next couple of years. Maybe the arbitrage or maybe the electrical cost will drive the C&I further than the grid services. So I think it's all combined that will drive the whole business or the whole universe forward in this area. But there is going to be focus on specific areas going forward.
Jandri, what are your views on this one? I mean, South Africa has this unique situation with load shedding. What can you tell us more about the potential in this market segment?
Sure. I agree with everybody here. I think energy management, specific in South Africa, is going to become a crucial part for us moving forward with a very unstable grid. The bigger plants that are being built all throughout, especially South Africa, a way to manage all the energy and all the infrastructure around this is going to become a very crucial part.
And Christian, can you maybe summarize a bit?
Yeah, of course. So, in Germany, it's pretty much the same. I would say that we are on the edge that it really makes sense to use the C&I batteries for the cases like Ali also showed, for peak shaving or for optimizing your self-consumption. But it's an edge case. It's not 100% clear that it makes sense. So that's also what the analyzers I brought with, so that the customer explicitly asked for it. We did the calculation. We said it might make sense. It's not 100% clear, but yes, if you want it, you can do it. You are not wasting money. And
do you maybe want to share some slides if you have some calculations?
We can do it in a second. And ideally, you then also combine it with other use cases, and then optimize the revenues. But this is also not easy, because if you are, for example, doing peak shaving, then you need the power. And then if you want to participate in the FCR market, then you need to be in the 50% SOC area in order to do minus and plus. So you cannot utilize the full battery for your peak, for the peaks. Same as for self-consumption. you want to store the energy in your battery, so you would like to go rather to very low 0 or 20%. And then if you're participating in day ahead or other markets, you need the energy to provide. So therefore, it's a kind of vice versa and not always the same direction. And therefore, it's not easy to combine it. But what we also saw, and that's my last sentence, that the energy prices, especially the peak prices, has increased dramatically the last year. So Bayernwerk, for example, one of the biggest grid operators in Germany, increased by over 50%. So we are talking now about 190 euro per kilowatt capacity price if you are in the range of more than 2,500 usage hours. So that's really, really crazy. And then it's more and more obvious that a battery makes totally sense.
Ali, could you give a summary of what we are seeing in the EMEA region in this regard? And also you mentioned the benefits that can be realized through grid support and through VPP services.
Yeah, I mean, I just would like to take the point of Christian, because Christian, you mentioned about, I mean, all of these different use cases, and you have for grid services, you need to put your battery storage at 50%, so you have it available for the frequency, for the FCR mode, for instance. Same for backup. Then you will reserve part of your storage for this use case, right? Which means you will have a big part of your storage that is not available for self-consumption, and this is where we come as a manufacturer, where we see that also we can support a lot by standardizing, by driving the solutions to simplicity, to cost effectiveness. A lot is about energy management, but also I see a lot about providing simple and easy and competitive solutions that help the users take the best of what they need. Christian, you mentioned the example, they have the 190, so the very high price of the peak power. They want to achieve in South Africa, they would like to have the backup, but the overall system is very expensive. But if you combine it together with the self-consumption, then it might start making sense. And if we talk back to your question, Maria, so if we go into the VPP mode, I mean, what is a VPP? I mean, there are several use cases we see in Sweden. For instance, VPPs that are focused on the ancillary services with frequent and with grid service, with frequency support. This brings a totally new profitability and totally new unimaginable payback times for the systems. Maybe Nicholas, you can tell us a little bit more. I think the case of Sweden is very, very interesting. Huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. We will be back with Nicholas. I think he prepared even a slide for us, but yeah. Leo raised his hand, I believe. So maybe he wants to add something on this one, what we just discussed. And then we move to the grid services in Sweden. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what Ali said, is to have a hardware that is very, very scalable, and therefore you get it on a effective price and on a standardized product that is running very well. And then if you put in the energy management that is flexible, you can put it now in one business case. Maybe that's only, I think, Nicholas, you will go there as well. FFR, FCR is very profitable for this year, for the next maybe 2 or 3 years. After that, there might be a different business case, and flexibility will be always something that is very, very helpful, very worth helping us as well in getting revenues, but also increasing the possibility of green energy in the market. And then if you have a good energy management, you have the same hardware and maybe a totally different business case in a few years. And the customer that has a flexibility there will not be saying after 2 or 3 years, oh, I bought the wrong thing, I want to throw it out, buy something new, because maybe the business case is totally different now. If you have the flexibility of a good energy management, you can then have the possibility to really use that and save resources and bring that in the market further.
And just to avoid any acronyms, so we were talking about frequency regulation, right? For the sake of understanding for everyone in the audience. So this as the dominant use case in terms of grid stabilization services. So Nicholas, can you tell us how the situation looks like in Sweden?
Yes, I'll try to be brief because there's a lot of ground to cover in this area.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start to say that the, as my friend was saying, it's driven by electrical prices. It's driven by political decisions, and you will have focus area throughout this journey. What you're going to use your CNI for. So traditionally, you've used the small CNI and residential for your self-consumption, your peak shaving, basically in-house services. Now we are seeing through very forward aggregators that they can combine smaller resources and bundle them up as larger resources to be offered up as fast frequency reserve or FCRD, grid frequency services. And with this, it's become very, very popular for small players even, with small systems to be able to participate in this market. So that's why it's become so very popular very quickly in Sweden to participate in this market. And it's largely due to aggregators adapting to that need or that possibility, if you like. The frequency service is nothing new, but it's been primarily geared towards large installations, large resources that's been deployed, and now it's even smaller resources available. Let me just explain quickly the two most popular services. There is more, there is 5 or 6 of them, but the fast frequency reserve is a very quick reserve, and it requires high technical gear enabled to be able to play in that market. The large, bigger one is the FCRD, which is up and down. That means that you have to be able to reserve effect power to be able to upload and download. And it's fairly quick as well, but not as quick. So GoodWe equipment is excellent for this scenario. And it lends itself to meet that demand. And it's also very scalable. A couple of things to remember when you deal with an aggregator, they have full control over your asset and can use it as anything as they like. As a asset provider, you have no control over your asset whatsoever. Now there's a lot of forces in the market to be able to combine private or local usage, such as self-consumption, time of use, peak shaving, and what have you, together with frequency services. And that is the challenge going forward, to be able to make them play nicely together in a good way.
Jakub, would you like to chip in on this one? We lost you there for a second, but it's good that you're back.
Sorry for that.
No worries.
No, I agree with what has been said. I mean, from our perspective, and we see it from the reactions and questions of our customers, the energy management system is a crucial element in basically getting the commercial storage. Another one is our market has been more, let's say, residential oriented. Companies are interested to know where to start in the first place. What can they gain? They want to learn, and this is what I was saying before, that the general awareness of the potential pros of the technology and of the applications is very important for our customers. And there are lots of opportunities. We just need to explain and broaden the horizons for customers.
Sure, thanks. And so we heard from our friends in Germany that here we have peak shaving, self-optimization as maybe key use cases, and Niklas was talking about grid stabilization services. Jandri, can you please tell us how things look like in South Africa in this regard, and what is the demand how does the demand look like? I mean, there have been some announcements. I think already last month the president said that the end of the load shedding crisis is in sight. How do things look like in the field? Are customers interested in installing solar and storage and improving their energy security?
Yeah, sure. So, the president did make the announcement, and unfortunately, 2 days after that, we had worse cases of load shedding in South Africa. So it didn't last very long.
Okay.
So, but I mean, yeah, our market definitely at this stage is leaning a lot towards CNI, mostly for the cases where they would like to have a stable grid or supply of electricity. It's obviously other cases like self-consumption is also something that they would look at when the grid eventually stabilizes in South Africa, we hope. So, but yeah, a lot of the others like peak shaving, all those factors can definitely come into play in South Africa as well. But yeah, it's not only South Africa. We service the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. So I mean, so we see basically the same thing all over Africa for that matter. So we hope that the new solutions that GoodWe has to offer can really assist our clients. And I think they've been waiting long for these type of scalable solutions.
And what do we see in terms of demand in the CNI market segments? So are customers interested in directly installing both PV and storage on site, or they lean more towards only solar? What are their key questions, so to ask, or to say, so what are you most often asked in terms of potential benefits that they could realize through installing these systems on site?
Sure, yeah, no. So most of the clients do both. So it will be a battery solution coupled with PV and recharge times, and also some added benefits currently that the government do offer of some tax incentives and so forth. So it makes sense for guys to install both PV and battery systems. Yeah, I think so. Demand currently is very much increasing in South Africa. Like I also briefly mentioned, the fact that there's so many financial institutions currently offering financial assistance for moving into this like sector and installing these systems makes it a lot easier for companies to actually do these larger installs, which obviously is quite a big capital layout.
And in terms of policy and regulatory developments that could potentially drive growth of CNI PV plus storage in your countries and beyond, what is that you're seeing? Maybe to Peak Plant, to Christian in Germany first. Do we expect some big developments there?
So I'm not super deep in the policy, but in general, I think if the policy provides more flexibility, also what Ali mentioned with the EU legislation, that always helps if the market is more open. For example, currently you cannot charge a battery from the grid and use it then for the cases. So these are small things, but have a huge impact on your case at the end. And therefore, it's really important that politicians do the right things, not influenced by lobbyism from the energy sector, that you can really participate in the market. I think that's really crucial. And Ali?
If I may comment on this, I mean, I think this dynamic electricity prices could be a strong driver in the market. I mean, we see, for instance, in Netherlands with negative electricity prices and already businesses participating on this. It's gonna be, I mean, politicians have their role, but also I think the market will also play a big role, because then the very interesting part will be how high are really the deviations in electricity prices, and are these dynamic tariffs dynamic enough to justify or to develop a fully new case for storage. I don't know what your view, guys, on this here based on your markets, but I think this is going to be a very interesting driver.
One additional comment. I think the most important thing is that politicians provide stability and not guide the discussion by some how do you say honey, and then you want to wait. So like you had a discussion with the feed-in tariffs in Germany, etc. And this is really killing the market at the end. It's better to really provide flexibility, and then people can act on it instead of changing your statements all the time. I think that's really poison. Therefore, that's the most important thing politician can provide.
Can do, yeah. Absolutely. So we mentioned already this few use cases, and obviously every region has its specific traits, but how difficult would it be to combine several use cases? Maybe Ali, to you first, and maybe a more general view across the region. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I mean, there are two aspects. There is technology, of course, and this is the energy management that is very critical. I mean, if you want to combine controlling loads and like EV charging, and then also backup or peak shaving and self-consumption and all in one, it for sure creates a complex use case. We provide solutions for that. And when it becomes more advanced, I think here the role of experts in energy management is key to facilitate that. So that is one aspect. But I would also see is this complexity again comes with higher costs, right? So if you would like to replicate several use cases in one installation, then you need to oversize your storage because you need more capacity for the peak shaving or more capacity for the backup, which then could be a hurdle. And so at the end, things go hand in hand. So energy management together with the technology and the system cost development.
Yes, but also, right, if I'm correct, there are also a number of markets where you cannot even combine these use cases at this point. So we talked about dynamic electricity tariffs. This is not happening yet in many markets. So it will probably just go simultaneously with the technology, maturity of the technology, as well as some market development.
I was discussing this with Niklas. Niklas, we talked about combining the grid service with self-consumption. I was asking, okay, then if you look at this grid services in Sweden, it's actually purely storage, doesn't need PV. But then I learned from Niklas that no, I mean, with the hybrid technology that we offer, it is both self-consumption and maybe Niklas, you can say more how self-consumption and grid service.
Well, I can because it is quite a brilliant combination. Given that you still have to invest in a piece of hardware, and you do have your PV system, so you want to be able to harvest your PV energy and do what you do with that, but still offer your battery solution as a grid service to an aggregator, and you can do this, at the same time. There is no conflict there. Where the conflict comes in is when you still want to use peak shaving on individually. You want to use your battery yourself. You want to be another political decision that's coming down here in 2025 is that you have to pay for your usage depending on your peak demand. So if you use a peak for a very short period of time, that's the rate you will pay for the entire month. So with that in mind, we need to find a smarter system. It's a virgin market still with controlling, where you can combine all of these demands so they can work together in a smart way. And there's a lot of smart people working on this, and I think we will see a lot of changes going forward. Today it's a little rigid. Either you do the one or the other.
Yes. Anyone else wants to chip in on this one, on combining the use cases? Yeah, Leo, please do.
Maybe just the example that I brought before with the Next Mobility Hub. That's exactly what we do there. I mean, we have a little bit over-dimensional storage system there for what the basic case would be, but since we have a little bit more, we can have a multiple use. So there is PV own consumption, and for the rest of the energy we buy, we are flexible on the market to buy it. We are doing peak shaving, especially in combination with, I think, 1.8 megawatt on EV charging, because it's next to the highway. So we have a lot of fast charging, and the energy management can combine as well the charger as the battery. And since we have an oversized battery, we also do with the rest of the capacity and the power grid stabilization, or depending on the market, which is best in that moment, or we do energy trading. So with that, yeah, it means usually that we have a little bit more invest because it's a little bit bigger power and capacity, but if we combined it, we have multiple use cases and much better payback time on that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Therefore, it's more important than subsidy. It's to have the freedom to really combine these applications and not having, in Germany, there was always the fear that due to feed-in subsidies, there could be a mix of gray and green energy, which was always blocking a lot of topics. Now it's getting better, but there's still ways to do to bring that in.
Absolutely, yes. And with that, maybe just shortly to wrap up this conversation, what do you see as key hurdles and challenges in the way of commercial and industrial solar plus storage, and what's in store for this market segment in the years to come? So maybe in your respective regions, and maybe Ali can wrap up. Jakub, please.
Well, potential hurdles and challenges, as I said before several times, I think it's still a lack of knowledge. Then definitely regulation comes into place as well. It's still a living thing, and the politicians do not necessarily follow the same goals as the market, as the businesses, right? Then I would surely mention also administrative processes. You often, in our cases, PV often goes together with a battery, and to build a bigger PV in case of our market still takes quite some time to get all the necessary permissions. So this I would perhaps see as the biggest hurdle at this point of time, the building permits regulations still.
And for the future, what is that you expect?
Expectation, there are always expectations, such as the new technologies can be different chemistry. Sodium-ion batteries, for example, have been also discussed recently. Perhaps we can envisage faster charging, discharging, that would further then enable new services in the market. And ultimately, EMS needs to follow up. There will be new business cases, as also Leo mentioned before. We will see some for maybe 2-3 years to come, and there will come another later on. But there will always be a delta between the demand and supply on the energy market.
Absolutely. Christian, anything to add?
I think one of the hurdles are definitely the knowledge, as you mentioned, but also the knowledge on the customer side, because a lot of people don't know that it makes sense to install a battery and save money. And it feels a bit that we are not too far away from the tipping point, especially for the C&I market. For the large scale and utility scale, I think we are over it. It's more batteries pre-qualified than the whole market is. So it's obvious that it's there, it's common sense. Same as for residential. I think no end customer will question to install a battery, or most of them. So therefore, I think it's not too far away, and it's super important to really spread the word, to look at the single cases and see if it makes sense. But a lot of cases, it already makes sense. And also with increasing energy prices, it's then you're automatically then in a profit case. And therefore, what Ali also mentioned, a flexible system is super important, that you also can adjust and adapt, and a good price, obviously.
Yeah, at least on the knowledge front, we hope that we are contributing a bit with webinars such as this one today. Okay, Leo, to you next.
Well, as I said, the most important thing is that we can really combine that, and that we put out bureaucratic hurdles out of the way. And I think from what we've seen, the residential and the utility scale is running extremely good. I think C&I is the market which will grow the most in the future. So it has very, very high potential. And I think we can use business cases that are in both in the residential, but also in the utility scale, and with a very good use of our resources, because the grid connection points are already there. You don't have to build big grid connection as you do in utility scale, but as well you have bigger capacities and power than in the residential market. So I think if we go there, that's very good, and it's a big contribution to this, what I said in our vision, the 100% renewable energy world, which everybody needs to understand that's the good thing to go. It's the best thing to go, and it's a good future, which shows us a lot of opportunities, a lot of very cheap energy, not in every time slot, but in general, we will have a lot of energy which is cheap. Well, and if you use it, the flexibility of batteries, then that's the way to go.
Absolutely. Yandri, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah,
In terms of hurdles and
yeah,
potential?
I think I fully agree with everybody. I think for us specifically, our market is not as evolved maybe as most of the other markets. Our biggest hurdles probably would be regulatory from government to keep on pushing incentives and so forth in the future as well, until grid supply at least is stabilized. So yeah, and then just obviously making sure that quality products enter our market. And so yeah, I think that's us.
Yeah, also very good point. And Nicholas, can you please share your thoughts?
Yes, I agree, of course, with everything that's been said. I just would like to add to the mix that being in the middle of electrification, meaning that we are transitioning from fossil fuels to electrical all the way through, it's going to put demands on the system that we haven't even seen yet. It's critical that CNI is deployed to help the grid system. Otherwise, we'll see effects that otherwise may become severe. I think the market forward is only exponentially in potential.
And Ellie?
And as been said before, it's very important to be able to cater to any and all use cases. Hopefully at very short notice. Maybe every hour you can change your use case.
Absolutely, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's exponential market, as Niklas said. I agree with Christian that we are at the tipping point or soon to be there, because you all talked about the knowledge also being a critical factor. We see we talk about different complex about different use cases. This might be seen by the end user or by the customer as complex and difficult to understand and not really to grasp. And I think from the moment where we convey the message, no, it sounds complex, but at the end, they are very viable and easy and straightforward use cases and profitability relate to it, then that's the moment of this segment to really show to sustain the exponential growth. I mean, it's not going to sustain it forever. At some point, it will be also the mainstream. But I think it's an opportunity we're all excited about, because this is going to be a key pillar of the storage market and of the energy transition.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, gentlemen, a lot for this engaging discussion and for sharing your insights and expertise with us. So we're a bit over time, but up next is also an exciting section of today's program, our Q&A. Tristan?
Yeah, no, thanks everyone for the panel there. It's been really great. And we have had a bunch of questions come in. Some of these questions are a little too specific, I think, for this discussion, but just be aware that GoodWe will see these questions afterwards and consider them, and maybe even get back to you. I'm not sure, but yeah, I actually have the chance, Ali, to ask you a question just on. It's not about the hype cycle of AI, but it's about the fact that CNI is complex enough that I think it's possible we can start talking about the fact that GoodWe may be looking at AI here to solve some of these complex problems and to offer these use cases, because we're talking about things like in CNI, you're talking solar and storage, obviously. Plus, you can take in data from the weather services. You can offer grid services. We briefly talked about charging EVs or bidirectional, taking a nice full EV battery and using that for your own systems. All these things. There's so much data on offer. I don't think it's possible really for normal control algorithms to really take it all into account. Are you looking into machine learning in these approaches? And is that something that's maybe rolling out over the future?
So to me, right, Tristan? Yes.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Definitely.
Yes.
I mean, it's right. Energy management is moving from straightforward algorithms to more complex situations, right? Weather, consumption, electricity prices, all of these are changing every day. All of these are behaviors that evolve over the time, and this is where AI comes into place. This is where AI can help us also put this energy management into a more simple solution, self-learning.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, and just I'll jump in with another question. So a couple of people have sort of asked, what's the cost per kilowatt, and how do I know about my return on investment and so on. I guess maybe Ali, you can start this, and then we'll go into some regional answers if from our panelists if you have something to offer. But how much when people say, okay, what's my payback period? What's acceptable to them, and what isn't? What sort of level are we talking about in CNI? So Ali, if you kick us off.
Yeah, well, this is really different from country to country and use case by use case. I mean, we see phenomenal times in Sweden, for instance, that could be just a couple of years, but also in other regions where if it's purely self-consumption, it can be 10, 15 years, even longer. So it's very different, case by case, customer by customer, size by size, and this is the key for us as a solution provider here as GoodWe, is that we have this strong network of partners that we are all very thankful for our partners to be here today, because this complexity in different countries, us as a manufacturer, we are supporting it with hardware solutions that are flexible, that are adaptable, but also we're relying on our partners here to look together with the local customer on understanding what is at the end the final product, what is at the end the final solution, how to tailor-made it for the customer.
Sure. So can we go to some of the regions? Leo, I saw you had your hand up if you want to jump in first. Or maybe you didn't have your hand up. Sorry if I'm calling you.
I didn't, but anyway, I think it is quite complex on which the payback time is, because the business cases are so different. And we indeed see, for example, FFR in Sweden or in Germany, there is industrial cases which, for example, atypical grid usage or intensive grid usage, where we have topics. Sometimes payback time is 1.5 years. That's extremely, but then you have to have the perfect business case or the perfect consumption before.
And in which market, Leo? Is it in Germany that you're talking about in 1.5 years?
For example, in Germany, yeah, we have one project close to us, intensive grid usage, but that's consumption more than 10 gigawatt hours a year. That's very interesting, but at the same time, you have to have a perfect failure-safe system, because if you miss 15 minutes in the year, the whole case is gone for this year. So that's then quite interesting. And for others, for example, for the market of frequency control, as we had utility scales, the market is already overloaded. So if you put systems there, it's always good to have like a backup plan, to have other opportunity to use the storage with a good EMS that is flexible, that has the solutions to have more than one business case in the end. And
thanks, Leo.
For the pricing, I think one thing is that you have to look, different business cases need different batteries. So some are more focused on power, and the euro per kilowatt price is not really interesting because it's all on the power that is available, and others are much more on the capacity. And indeed, I mean, we have the first serial CNI storage systems, I think, introduced in 2016. There is a lot of changes getting into more and more a capacity focused market than it was in the past, more power focused market.
Thanks, Leo. Christian, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, instead of crunching numbers, the customer's more than welcome to reach out to me, and then we run it through the system and have a concrete answer.
Sure.
Yeah,
no worries. Yeah, no worries. And Yandre, I'm guessing things are a little different in South Africa, where you're worried about just having power versus getting it paid back too quickly.
Yeah, I think having power in the first case already adds a value.
Sure.
So it is definitely slightly different. But yeah, also, I mean, I agree with the rest of them. It's a very business this case. I mean, no two sites are the same, so yeah, it's very hard to say. I mean, what we're seeing with battery storage, I mean, I think the lowest you'll probably get is around 6 years, but can also go up to over the 10-year mark very easily, depending on the case.
Gotcha. Nicholas, Jakub, I want to get to you. Do you put your hand up if you want to go first? Either of you? Yep, go for it, Nicholas.
I agree with Christian. Reach out to us and we'll help you out in any way we can, of course.
Sure.
The use case in Sweden right now, you can expect 30 to 45% return on investment, depending on what service you're in. This may not be forever, but right now that's how it looks. And like Lennon would say, that you have to put your, you have to have the right equipment. You can't fail, otherwise it becomes costly.
Gotcha. Jakub, you might as well make the same pitch.
We are, as a solar distributor, we supply the technology. Ultimately, some of the, let's say, integrators ultimately do the job. But nevertheless, as was said, the overall ROI depends on the use case. And we have seen a lot ranging from both extremes. But for example, we have a nice customer, and let's say in Slovakia, and they are so to say a flexibility aggregator, and they are able to deliver around 3 to 4 years of payback time for the whole system, which I think speaks for itself, and it's a very nice business case. As an example.
Thanks, Jakub. I've got horns in the background, so I'm going to throw back to Maria.
Okay. So I don't know what exact picture a person is referring to, but they say we saw a picture of a system installed in a container outside of a farm. Do you need to install air conditioning system to keep the batteries at cool temperature?
Well, the question to me, I guess, because that's from the presentation. Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on the country where you're operating. Batteries, of course, need to. If you use indoor batteries, you put them in a container. And if it's in a cold area, then you need to rather heat it up in the winter. But also we have our outdoor solutions that include temperature regulating and cooling, and that's all integrated so that if it's an outdoor installation, you can just put it outdoor and it will manage its own temperature.
Mm-hmm. And maybe also to you, Ali, one more. Can you comment on where storage systems are going in terms of operational DC voltage levels and safety mechanism and operational protocols needed for storage systems in the 1,500 volt DC range?
Well, I mean, CNI storage, we see. Okay, I mean, if we talk about the storage, we don't see the CNI storage already going to 1,500 volt DC. It's still in a lower voltage. I mean, still high voltage. Right? We're talking here about typically the range of 400 to 800 volts. That brings the best, as of now, the most optimized technology. In terms of, I think the question was also related to the safety measures that are integrated. Key is the fire safety. So our outdoor solutions include fire suppression systems, and of course all of the everything else that is known about the lithium. So LFP technology, which is the state of the art, meaning that's the technology that is currently the safest lithium technology.
Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of questions about alternative battery technologies. So are you considering anything else than LFP?
Definitely. I mean, that's something that we're looking into together with our partners on the cell technology and cell manufacturing side. Nothing that's gonna come in the coming 1 or 2 months, but that's something to be open for sure. And what we're doing are also battery technologies that are battery systems that are more or less independent also from the cell chemistry itself, so that you can still keep the BMS while changing the technology inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Tristan, anything to add?
Was it Tristan or Christian?
Tristan?
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think the car honking has finished outside, but that also brings us to a great place to wrap up. We are over time, but we really appreciate everyone offering their analysis and insights a little bit over time here. So thanks to everyone. Maria, do you want to start with our wrap up of our
yes, absolutely. Thank you all from my side as well. This was wonderfully informative, and with that, of course, thank you to GoodWe for initiating this session, and thanks to all our speakers from Peakplan, Solar+, Kranić, BayWa, and Fenecon, and of course to my colleagues here at PV Magazine who helped put together such a great webinar. So thank you all for watching this webinar, and we hope to see you at another PV Magazine event very soon. And for wherever you are in the world, we wish you a good day or good evening, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks again.